Trapmore gang, we have been digging very deep into the Epstein files and we are not stopping anytime soon. One of the craziest allegations that's been made about the files recently is that Jeffrey Epstein was planning or perhaps even already running some kind of operation. Apparently, he bragged to people at dinner parties that he was planning to have 20 women pregnant at a time. There was rumors that he wanted to, use DNA gene editing technology to create this, perfect breed of into the world. He wanted to single-handedly repopulate the world. This guy was trying to make babies for whatever reason, and it's disgusting. Okay. Now, in this video, we're going to dig deeper into some of these rumors and allegations that Epstein was actually on his Zorro ranch in New Mexico. And a lot of people are asking the question, did he actually pull it off? Did he actually create any children? And if he did, what happened to the babies of Jeffrey Epstein? Now, the first thing that I want to show you in this whole situation, okay, is an account that has been going around. And ironically, this has been going around for about a month, longer than the whole Epstein files debacle has been going on. A few weeks since we've actually had these files. But this is an account from a whole month ago where an Epstein survivor revealed shocking details about what they described as a human experience related to this conspiracy, right? This survivor would recount a horrifying memory, basically describing waking up on what appeared to be a makeshift laboratory on Epstein's New Mexico ranch. Look at this.
Well, I don't even know what they did. I woke up in a lab. There were people working on me. It wasn't like the usual sort of hospital area. It was just, there's something very, very weird that happened. And I don't know what it is. There's a lot of weird stuff that they try to do. I mean, if I knew more, I'd be dead.
So you woke up in what was essentially some sort of a makeshift operating room at Epstein's ranch in New Mexico. You saw them committing some sort of medical crime, some sort of procedure upon you. And did you ever feel any sort of physical pain or trauma, or were you ever able to confirm exactly what they did? I know you've gotten trauma from the whole experience, but was it
crazy? I had severe trauma.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to die every day.
Yeah.
They did something serious to me, and I know they did because I've abused myself many times in my life. But
so she said she woke up in a lab. She felt like they were experimenting on her. It's a pretty dark account, okay? She's saying she doesn't even really fully understand what she actually went through. It was such just a bizarre, horrible thing that she's coming to terms with even during interviews. But interestingly enough, okay, these claims, they do actually line up with pretty disturbing details that were apparently found in the Epstein files themselves regarding an actual alleged systemic operation where victims of Epstein were actually taken to the ranch or other locations and reportedly likely with Epstein's DNA. It's gross, but this is what's going on. This is what they're saying.
One of Epstein's victims from his never-searched ranch in New Mexico, and what we found was beyond disturbing. Trauma most of us can't imagine, and all of it written in code inside a blue, sparkly notebook that surfaced quietly in this most recent drop of Epstein documents released by the DOJ. This may have been the purpose of the New Mexico ranch, a place that was never fully investigated. We know about the island and we know about the New York mansion, but Epstein's ranch in New Mexico is different. No raid, no forensic sweeps, no warrants, no accounting, and after his death, the estate sold and basically erased any chance of preserving that property. So what happened there? For years, what we knew came only in fragments: survivor testimony, civil filings, and now this personal journal. Handwritten, a blue, sparkly little girl's notebook, written partly in code mixed with magazine clippings. It reads the way a child would write when they're scared and being watched. The writer documents, she writes about being isolated until tests were positive, about being withdrawn from others. She calls herself an incubator. I am nothing but property, she writes. She describes forced medical procedures that she is experiencing. And this, while it really proves nothing specifically about the ranch, it's definitely showing us that there is evidence, accounts that were written down, and nothing was done. So the question isn't just what happened in New Mexico, it's why it was never investigated. Follow for part 2 and tell me what you think of all of this.
So look, this is dark, all right? Like, we're hearing reports. It was a real baby farm. There were little girls there. They said a blue sparkly notebook where she was writing details about what was going on, what was happening to her. And it's just really, really sad to even hear. I mean, I don't even want to believe that it's true, but I could believe that it's true. Now, what's really interesting, okay, is there's actually been some comparisons to other situations, and essentially there was another very disturbing case, okay, where essentially there was another disturbing case, all right, where basically a Canadian billionaire fashion mogul by the name of Peter Nygaard, okay, he apparently had a situation that was similar, and some people have actually been comparing these things to each other, the Zorro Ranch and what apparently this Peter Nygaard guy had going on. So let's take a look at this. That maybe Epstein wasn't the only guy with these kind of twisted ideas, these weird breeding ambitions. It's disgusting and gross, and it's apparently going on at the highest levels of society. Look at this.
Stem cell technology that Peter and I are investing in. It's called SCNT, which takes the egg of a young, perfect woman specimen, takes the egg and takes out the nucleus and puts our DNA in the nucleus. They just go in and take it out.
It's painful, right?
Huh?
Is it painful? Jesus.
Yeah, a little bit. And this is part of this genetic greatness that we don't see in any other race on the planet. These curvy, sexy black women from Africa. You girls have a kind of a monopoly on this genetic perfection, and we want some of that.
Sorry, but what an absolute creep. What an absolute creep. You got you on the genetic lorry, you sexy curvy. We want some of that. Like, bro, you're gross. Hang it up, bro. But I just lock all of these guys up. Just, you know what? Take all these guys, put them on the island, and just let them fight it out.
When you regard it as waste, then it actually should be. It should be captured as recycled. And,
Oh, this waste should be captured and recycled. Yeah.
it shouldn't go to waste. It's life for somebody else. And it's life for mankind. The best eggs are 60.
This is the definition of scaring the hose. I don't think there is a single way that you could scare the hose more effectively than talking about, I'll give you $500 for your eggs. Are you joking? Absolute insanity. How is this even possible? Now, you might be happy to hear the next piece of news, okay, that Peter Nygaard, all right, this guy, we're not even going to unpack his name, but Peter Nygaard, okay, he was ultimately sentenced to prison in 2024. But it's very interesting. There's some striking similarities between how Epstein and Peter Nygaard was using his wealth, and you're seeing some of these creepy, weird ideas. Everything that was just said in that video, I could honestly imagine Jeffrey Epstein saying, $500 for your eggs. Like, that's the type of shit Epstein was on. For sure, for sure.
It's the explosive lawsuit that's prompted comparisons to Jeffrey Epstein and the island where he is alleged to have molested young girls. But this case involves a well-known fashion executive. Lisa Guerrero
He had an island as well.
traveled to his Caribbean compound where a number of women claim they were victims of what they call
Peter Nygaard is one of the biggest names in fashion. The billionaire rides in a private jet with his name emblazoned on the fuselage. His flagship store is in Times Square, and he always seems to be surrounded by beautiful young women. Perhaps that explains why the 78-year-old billionaire uses anti-aging treatments to stay incredibly fit for a man his age. Nygaard owns homes all over the world, including this huge estate in the Bahamas, where he's entertained Britain's Prince Andrew. Yes.
Stop. That's twin. This Epstein's twin. He got an island. He buying stem cells. He buying the black market pea blood. And he chilling with Prince Andrew on the island. Y'all are twins. Y'all twins, man. You're doing exactly the right.
That's the same British royal linked to the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Like Epstein, Nygaard has a luxurious compound in the sun-kissed Caribbean. This is the private estate in the Bahamas known as Nygaard Key. Yes, it's named after the fashion tycoon, and why not? He owned it. It has a beachfront mansion with an aquarium, a helipad, and a casino. But now there are allegations that Nygaard was using this exotic paradise as a sex trafficking ring.
It is the most shocking things I've ever heard.
Attorneys Greg Gut.
So Epstein wasn't even the only guy doing it. Epstein wasn't even the only guy doing this. They have islands. These billionaires, they got islands. They got islands left, right, and center. They're trying to have breeding programs. It is despicable. Lock them all up, man. Lock them all up.
Wetzler and Lisa Haba just filed a lawsuit against Nygaard on behalf of 10 women identified only as Jane Does.
He would target the women that he felt were the most attractive to him, that met the body type he was looking for, and he used whatever was needed to make sure that those women ended up in his bed and he was able to hurt them.
When you saw these latest allegations, were you surprised or not?
No, not the least bit surprised.
Victoria Sarnay says she was Nygaard's personal assistant for a time in the early 90s.
The girls would come down in the morning looking absolutely dreadful and saying, you know, can you get us out of here? Can you get us out of here?
Really?
And we'd say, no, we can't because we didn't bring you in, so...
Is this his Ghislaine Maxwell? Like, bro, she looking like a haggard Ghislaine, I'm not gonna lie.
You've got to go ask him for your plane ride back.
I'm now on the beach in front of Nygaard's private estate here in the Bahamas. And as you can see, as we're watching them, the caretakers are watching us.
How long have you worked here?
For a while.
A while? Are you aware of the allegations that had taken place here with the parties?
No, ma'am.
The estate is filled with Mayan architecture with a dozen cabana-style residences.
I'm not gonna lie. Peter Nygaard is kind of island mogging Jeffrey Epstein. He just got island mogged. This island's way better than Jeffrey Epstein's island.
It looks kind of like an adult Disneyland.
These attorneys say that since they filed the lawsuit, additional women have come forward with similar allegations.
We are standing.
So look, all right, Epstein got island mogged. There was a better Epstein. Someone was doing it bigger than Epstein. I'm not saying that it's good or it's okay. Shouldn't have been happening. But bro, my guy just got mogged, man. That's embarrassing. Jeffrey Epstein's island was pokey compared to that. That was looking like, like he said, it's looking like Disneyland. But anyway, okay, this basically, bringing it all back to Jeffrey Epstein, this brings us back to some of the more sordid emails that were flying around. And one of the emails that a lot of people think maybe relate to this baby factory theory is one of the sort of very unsettling catchphrases that we're unfortunately seeing a bunch of times in these files. And that's these very bizarre references to jerky. Like, I guess beef jerky. The recurring, just like the word pizza is used to refer to something very nefarious, apparently the word jerky is getting thrown around in emails, and people think that it might be related to this baby factory idea, okay? This is going around r/Epstein. It says they're 100% not talking about beef jerky. Somebody said, I'm concerned after being off and then being back since Monday that somehow I have no jerky again. I am very, very annoyed. And then Francis Darby said to Jeffrey Epstein, I have jerky ready to mail today, but you said you'd be home tomorrow. Okay. Wait, so this was Francis Darby, right? They've redacted his name here, but we can see the message starts with Francis, right? Francis has time to come, I guess, who Jeffrey Epstein? Francis has time to come tomorrow to show me how to make it. Jerky class, anyone? He will also bring you a taste of his new jerky recipe from the restaurant and sends a warm hello. He's working at a restaurant called Cannibal and Cooks. Wait for it. Beef jerky and steak. He has time at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Is this okay with you? And another message. Subject, jerky. All right. From Francis Darby. Just wanted to touch base about jerky. J.E. said he was going to start eating regular food again, so he might be eating less jerky. That said, he has 6 bags of it in the downstairs freezer for his next trip. I believe that should be enough to get him through. Any other questions, please let me know. Thank you, Francis. To Jeffrey Epstein from Steve Hansen. Not Chris Hansen, Steve Hansen. Jeff, old saying, dog ate my homework. Well, my dog ate the beef jerky. I was looking for the beef jerky as I knew it was in my suitcase, and then I thought maybe I left it at the beach, only to find a small plastic bag near my dog's bed. Hence no beef jerky. I'll email Francis to make us some more as I need 6 to 8 ounces to send to the lab. Why are you sending beef jerky to it? You're just eating some innocent gas station beef jerky. Why you got to send it to a lab? I'll send it to the lab and forward Francis the info to send to the lab directly. I'll try you later. Another message to Francis Darby from Redacted. Subject jerky. All right. Hi, Francis. Jeffrey Epstein has asked me to email you and ask you whether you would be able to teach me to make the beef jerky. Thank you. To Jeffrey Epstein from Redacted. Subject, should I have Francis jerky FedExed? Bro. Can we not? I heard you're not fond of the batch of jerky from Steve. There's still some left from Francis in the freezer at 71st. Can I organize it? Can I organize to have it FedExed down? Now, look, the fact that he's saying that it's in a freezer makes me think it's potentially some eggs. All right, it's some eggs. As you saw, our last guy that was island mogging Jeffrey Epstein, he's at dinner talking about, let me buy your eggs. Hey, baby, let me buy them eggs. Maybe that's what they're talking about. You don't keep beef jerky in the freezer, right? Can I organize to have it FedEx down? Blank is going to try and attempt to remake Francis's. I'm liaising with Blank about raw ingredients and original recipe. For another message, redacted. Redacted to and from sides of this one, okay? So we don't know who sent it, all right, and who it was sent to, but it's very much redacted. Someone said, Steve Hansen is sending jerky to your attention overnight because he does not like what he made last time. Said, uh-oh, I'm sure someone over there will like some jerky then. Smiley face. This one says, how do we deal with the frozen white tuna? It says, jerky will be with me when I get to LSJ, Little St. Jeff's, I guess. I can come tomorrow and take care of white tuna if you like. I'm due back in New York City by this evening, sent from BlackBerry. Sorry, on second thought, I'll be back tomorrow to make jerky happen and prepare white tuna. It said Jeffrey Epstein is on the island and he has the tuna with him. If you can let Blank or Blank know what to do with the tuna, that would be great. Blank is still on the ranch. And another set of redacted to and from messages. I already saw that one saying, got it. Blank sent Blank an email. I think they're going to attempt to make jerky as well. I haven't gotten any emails today about any of this, and now it seems to be too late. I need to know if he's out of jerky and things like this before it happens. I would rather come in and make more on a day off than to be so far away that it's not possible to fix things that are wrong. It's actually easier that way. And he said, I understand. He left on Wednesday last week, and he had quite a bit of jerky that we sent with him. He must be going through it like crazy. What? So this is a message from Leslie Groff, who is his assistant to Jeffrey Epstein, copied in Francis Derby, forward subject, beef jerky, and a PDF is attached, ironically, okay? A PDF's attached to the jerky. Hi, Leslie. Jeff had asked to have a sample of his beef jerky tested for nutritional value. Attached to the results just received. Let me know if I can be of further assistance. Interesting. You got to get your beef tested in a lab, right? Like, that's normal. That's like a normal thing to do, right? Like, yeah, right? What? Steve and I are very grateful, above all, for your friendship. Like, have you ever gone for a business meeting and you're like, you follow up and you're just like, tell you what was really good about that meeting? The beef jerky, man. The beef jerky is life-changing. Value our friendship so much for providing that beef jerky. I don't know, right? Message from Blank to Karina Shuliak. Hi, Blank. Jay is asking you to bring him more beef jerky on Friday. Are you also flying in on Friday? If not, I would like to collect it from you and take it with me on the plane. Please let me know. Thanks, Karina. Right. It said, Francis, has time come tomorrow to show me how to make it? Jerky class, anyone? I'll bring you a taste of his new jerky restaurant from the jerky recipe from the restaurant. He also sends a warm hello. He is working at a restaurant called Cannibal and Cooks. Oh, you already read this one, right? So the people are saying these are almost all of the references to beef jerky. This is what I could gather from my research. Guy Steve Hansen is a restaurateur in New York City, I think. All his public profiles got taken down in the last 2 days, I believe. Francis Darby is the personal chef that Steve Hansen referred to Epstein. There is a restaurant by the name The Cannibal, reference to, from which my search is currently shut down. I'm not saying they're eating children, but I'm saying this is 100% weird. There's one email in particular that's from Steve's wife probably, that says, delicious lunch, beef jerky. Why would you mention beef jerky specifically like that? He was saying there are emails discussing the need to keep it in a refrigerator or on ice. That's some weird jerky. Sounds like they're drugging the jerky. I mean, jerky. It's way too much back and forth to just be out jerky. Who the F mails jerky? Like, specifically delivered constantly and is obsessed with it. Okay? Well, let me play devil's advocate. He did live on an island and he needed people to send him stuff over. But shouldn't there be emails about all kinds of food then? He had a private chef on his island. Surely he'd order many more things. And I'd assume that jerky would just be included on the list, not weirdly separate. Just got a whole... I need some jerky to perk me up. Got a whole protocol for jerky, right? People are defending him. They're saying, to be honest, I'm pretty obsessed with biltong, a form of jerky, and if I could afford it, I would basically just eat that. There's a non-zero chance that Jeffrey Epstein got hooked on some high-protein, pure carnivore diet, eating just fancy jerky. But it says there are files meal planning for his diet, and they say that he ate a ton of jerky, and the chef needs to make more. I think this might actually be about jerky, right? Some people are convinced about something else. Someone knows how to cook these jerkies. Half of a recipe, but it doesn't mention what meat to use. Should we have a look at the jerky recipe? If it doesn't include stem cells, I'll be disappointed. So look, we got the recipe. Two pounds of jerky. Third organic tamari soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of sweet soy sauce, Kisap manis, 2 tablespoons of ginger, 2 tablespoons of lemongrass, fresh cut. So despite this word appearing so frequently in the records, there would actually be an apparent photograph, okay, of the alleged jerky itself, right? I've got an exclusive pic of the jerky for you right here. You can tell me what you think of this. They're saying this is the actual jerky in a now taken down document. Why would they want to take down the jerky photo? That's what I want to know. It's a bit conspiratorial, but like, why did they take down the jerky photo? They're saying that the dataset 9, the link is down. This photo has been removed from the DOJ website. Weird photo, even more weird that it's removed. Saying we need more answers about the jerky. I did a quick Google search because I wasn't sure if dried or smoked meat could be DNA tested, and this is the answer I got. Any type of jerky could be DNA tested to identify the animal species used, even after it's been cooked, cured, or smoked or dried. DNA analysis is effective in detecting various species, including beef, pork, venison, chicken, duck, and in some cases, unauthorized species, aka man or child. Key facts about DNA testing jerky. All right, we locked in. We're gonna learn about this. We're gonna learn about this today. Species identification. Tests can identify specific animals and can be sensitive enough to detect species that make up less than 1% of the mixture. So if there's even 1% or less of human meat in this jerky, right, they could find that out. The FDA has used DNA testing to verify label accuracy on jerky products, finding cases where products were mislabeled, e.g. in one case detecting non-beef DNA in products labeled as beef. Types of jerky. Testing works on various forms, including whole muscle, chunked, and formed, ground, or chopped jerky. Right? Procedure. A small sample, e.g. the size of a corn kernel, is usually sufficient for testing. So are we all reaching by guessing the jerky was human meat? It obviously got tested during the investigation. They wouldn't have just snapped a photo and been done with it. People are saying save backups everywhere. Could be human jerky. Is it really? It's a really depraved action, but the DOJ did say the Epstein files contain depictions of death in press statements. Hey, they're saying that, as apparently it's confirmed. They're saying in this, all right, let's have a look. They're saying that they literally said the Epstein files contain depictions of death of around 5 minutes.
Medical files and similar files, the disclosure of which would constitute a clearly unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. Any depiction of CSAM or child pornography was obviously excluded. Anything that would jeopardize an active federal investigation. And finally, anything that depicts or contain images of death, physical abuse, or injury, also not produced. Although the act allows for withholding for items necessary to keep secret in the interest of national security or foreign policy.
So they're saying there could be bodies, there could be murders, there could be deaths, could be baby stem cells, human jerky. That might have been excluded from the Epstein files, and there could have been pieces of content that actually relate to deaths. Now, I know we've gone a little bit off course, okay? I wanted to touch on the jerky theory, but I'm going to take you all the way back to the start, okay? And I want to talk to you about these alleged babies on this island breeding program, as twisted as that sounds. Redditors online have been discussing and trying to get to the bottom of this and basically asking that question that I asked you earlier on in the video, where are the babies? Where are the children? So this is in r/Epstein 12 days ago. It says, where are the children? Babies. Lots of evidence around breeding, taking babies from the girls, 30, 23andMe tests, and the Zorro Ranch being for creation of children. If the billionaires got all of this for free, I wonder if the ultimate goal was to get the young girls pregnant, A, to sell the babies, and B, for leverage. Bill Gates' note is a good example of how he likes to use leverage. Brina Nass, rumored Melania child, no way. Could have been a prototype, but where are the others? What happened to them? I can imagine Prince Andrew's child would be expensive, for example, okay? It says all evidence points towards an attempt to breed gifted children as well as farm children for black market use. There's another thread on here that talks about the genetics and cloning research being done to produce children for black market use. Given that they grabbed kids and girls out of the modeling industry, that they were targeting those they deemed pretty, and Epstein took special interest in those he deemed smart. I suspect a large number of these babies, if they were girls, immediately had their ova harvested. I don't have proof of this, though, so grain of salt, but it would fit the MO. You end up with an infertile young girl deemed beautiful by their standards. She can't naturally be impregnated, and you have an available stock of ova you deem as superior to the rest. The crisscross cipher diary hints towards the possibility being the case. Right, that's crazy. So they're saying that this article is an example of 21 designer children in California being created by a Chinese couple. It's not entirely far-fetched that Epstein was doing something similar. Because I wonder if getting into the surrogacy game, he could have made a lot of money having a stable of surrogates providing designer children to rich people. Some people are saying they eat them, hence the beef jerky. It says, why would they eat their prime collateral? If I wanted to blackmail the billionaires, I would keep the child, then ask for favors later. Gates was a classic example of this, where he refused to take the relationship further and Epstein got mad. It's crazy, okay? So we know he was into medical research. We know he was into stem cells, all that kind of thing, all right? I thought I read somewhere a few years ago about how he was obsessed with repopulating the world with his seed. Wasn't he one of those type of dudes? I could be wrong with everything that's going on. Life seems more and more like a dream, but I keep thinking about that. Where are all the kids? I understand keeping their identities a secret to protect them, but not their existence as a whole. Okay, and there is another thread on Reddit where people are asking the same thing. What happened to the children? It seemed there was enough evidence to believe that he did have this operation of getting women pregnant on this creepy ranch and on the. I feel like we're hearing that more from the New Mexico ranch rather than the island. Okay, but this is another post from r/Epstein. It says, "What happened to the children born to all these pregnant women?" People saying, "And who is the ringleader now? A network is more than one person." Hey, maybe Peter Nygaard and Jeffrey Epstein, they handed the torch to someone else. Who knows, right? People are saying it isn't magically gone because of Epstein being gone and some of the files being released. Jean-Luc Brunel is another person who has got to be researched and looked into because his network is bigger than just one guy. I think that they are maybe trying to use Epstein as a fall guy, but the network is still out there. OP Death Eaters talks a lot about the other people involved in this, and it seems to be a much wider network than it's currently being talked about by the official investigation. Said he is dead like Epstein since 2022, and for sure he brought him the young girls. That Jean-Luc guy is a real piece of shit. People are saying baby black market. You never heard about that? You mean to all these pregnant teenagers? And they're saying that, again, these are some of the emails from Jmail talking about the black market for babies, okay? Spoke of this going on at Zorro Ranch. She said on record that Epstein offered her money to do this, birth babies for black market use. Thanks for investigating this, okay? So this person says, we don't know, but we also don't know how many there were. If any, this is more speculation than fact at the moment. It says the person who said this is also dead. She was quoted as saying hundreds of girls were enslaved over years, lived on farms in Goiás, served as wombs to get pregnant for their babies to be sold. Ms. Bittencourt said that she had received reports of the newborns being sold for up to £40,000 in Europe, USA, and Australia. And guess what? Naomi Campbell's in the Epstein files. We could do that another day. We could dig into Naomi Campbell. Let me know in the comments if you want to see me just dig deep into Naomi Campbell. Not like that, but still, could run it. So speculation is all we have. You are not beholden to legal evidentiary standards. You are neither trying nor adjudicating this legal case. Reasonable speculation based on publicly available evidence is the entire point here. No. Here it is. It says, oh yes, this is a really big problem. These children are off the grid and there is nothing anybody knows about them except for Epstein and his minions. They can literally create the next batch of victims with this, right? They're saying the kids who were born in 2013 would be 30 now, right? Cream cheese and veggies, babies are like shrimp, rip the head off and keep the body. I should have copied the link. People are saying you'll misremember it. It was not babies. And the meaning of that sentence with the context is some of the girls have nice bodies, but not faces. That's insane. That's insane. Okay. Ugh. So look, people, all right, this is dark. I do feel like, do I think that the beef jerky was made with humans? I don't, but I could see that being a metaphor for some kind of stem cell, embryo, egg harvesting operation. Maybe not harvesting or just literally, doing IVF with a bunch of chicks that don't really want to be there. I do feel like all this, the jerky's got to be in the fridge and it's got to be frozen and it's got to be in the freezer and it's got to be shipped. And he needs this jerky for some reason. It's a little bit creepy. Now, I do feel like our pal Peter Nygaard, I think just seeing that, a lot of people are like, look, I don't want to believe that billionaires are on islands harvesting children, having baby farms. That's ridiculous. That's far-fetched. Well, no, actually, it turns out, allegedly, this is something, a couple billionaires are up to this. A couple of rich folks that are running big companies got the jet, they got the island, maybe they got the baby farm. Here's what that actually blew my mind. I couldn't believe that there's another guy out here that is actually just like mogging Jeffrey Epstein in every way. Lock him up. I say, lock him up, throw away the key. I'm down. Let's do it. All right, let's do it. Eat the rich. I mean, rich people, we're all trying to make it and get our little piece of the dream, but I could definitely eat the traffickers. Delicious. Perhaps we could get together and cook up some beef jerky and keep it in the freezer. Let me know what you thought of that breakdown. Okay, I could do more deep dives. If anything in this video is interesting to you, want me to dig deeper, let me know. But until next time, I'll catch you in the next video, and I will be back in my normal setup in a few days. But for now, we're going to keep running it up on the road. Okay, I'm out for a little bit, but I'll be back very soon. Appreciate you watching the video. Catch you in the next one. Out, gang. Peace.